Good morning and welcome to the Carla Marie Anthony Show.
I'm Carla Marie.
What were you just checking over there?
I built a warming hut for stray cats.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a stray cat come by a few times, takes a little snack, and leaves. We have a new friend that stopped by a lot last night and this morning.
Is it a mouse?
It's a rat. It's definitely a rat.
A full-on rat.
It's a rat.
Let's see him. This is what happens normally when you just leave tons of food outside, though. Because didn't you leave a pile of chicken on the floor or something?
I didn't mean to drop that much. It's the dried chicken snacks.
Okay. Which then became wet chicken snacks.
Which is good.
Because it's been raining.
I'm going to be
They are rehydrated.
Cleaning those up today.
Yeah. Yeah, but once you get a rat, he lives there now.
To be fair, the rat has been there forever.
Really?
I've caught him on the camera before I set all of this up, and that's who was eating the little things in the garden.
Oh, I thought it was a squirrel.
No, and then there's like that little hole.
Well, I want to see how big this rat is. What do we got?
Also, he keeps going under your bike, so he's probably eating the tires.
Well, it's also dry under there because there's a bike cover.
I am happy that I'm helping him a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to find the one where he popped out from under. Oh, there he is.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, look at his little eyes. Oh, it might be a mouse. He looks kind of cute.
You going to share with the class?
I lost it.
We got Pierre's trying to get in here.
You're not going to see him on there.
I'm trying to. Where does he come from? Oh, he does. No, that's a rat.
Yeah.
That's a full-on rat.
That's a
because that's about as big as the hole you cut, which is what, 6 inches wide, 5 inches wide.
He hasn't got in there.
It's big. No one's got in there, right?
No, and there's chicken in there, so I think these animals are dumb.
Maybe they don't like the straw.
Well, I don't care.
Or hay, what is it?
It's straw.
Straw.
His nickname?
Yeah.
Tui.
Tui? Like Ratatouille? Okay. So now we have rats, thanks to Carla Marie. Good job, I guess.
No, he has been there. But if he starts bringing friends.
What?
He's out.
I don't think he's out. How? You're going to get an exterminator?
No, I'll do what my dad does. I'll catch it and I'll go bring it somewhere else.
I don't think you have. I don't think you can catch a rat.
Nope.
So what are you going to do?
Put up like no rat signs.
Yep. Rats not welcome?
No, like you can put stuff to keep them away, not kill them.
I don't know. I think rats just live outside. You just leave them alone.
Listen, Seattle rats are way different than New York City rats.
Well, they're not as big.
This is like a cute little mouse.
They're not as big. That's the big thing.
And they're not as dirty.
Because New York rats are, they're sometimes the size of cats. They're big.
I tell you what, if this cat comes, we won't have a rat problem.
All right. Anyway, on the list today, let's see what we've got. I know we have my Super Bowl ticket value. We have to figure out whether it's going up or down based on the teams that are remaining this weekend. And I think we're going to go through and figure out for my tickets who we want to win and who we want to lose. Because I lost 2 pretty important teams last week. Kind of screwed me.
Yeah, that was tough.
First weekend of the playoffs, really, they dropped the value of my tickets. Now, keep in mind, when you hear the amount of money that I'm going to need to sell these tickets for, it's not because I am trying to retire or anything on these tickets. The price that I bought them for is what we are going to be talking about. From the Raiders, like from Allegiant Stadium and the NFL.
Like no
aftermarket, nothing like that. These are the face value of the tickets. And we have to see if the value is going up or down based on the teams remaining. Carla Marie's broken heart. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And completely separately, because the broken heart is a physiological thing, we are going to talk, are we dating the same guy?
Yes.
And if you listened to the morning show podcast this morning, Carla Marie mentioned it. I have a big problem.
I'm sure you
Like a very big problem with this whole idea. Mm-hmm. So, first up, what do you want to talk about, Carla Marie? Because we got rats out of the way.
Well, I think we should do the Super Bowl ticket value.
Okay.
And I think this will be exciting because for people that don't care about teams,
yeah,
we can all root for the same team based on us getting rich.
Well, us? Who's us?
I keep saying us. Everybody I know.
Who's us? Where's your $9,000?
So you just dropped the number?
So the price, and I know a lot of people are shocked, the price that I bought the tickets for, sorry.
Because your cousin bought the other one.
Yeah. I bought one. I mean, we split the cost for a pair, essentially. So that works out to me buying one ticket, my cousin buying one ticket. $9,000 for one ticket.
Face value.
Exactly.
From the NFL, from
Yeah.
Allegiant Stadium, from
And-
the Raiders. No middleman, no StubHub,
So when-
SeatGeek, whatever.
Yeah, so when you see the prices that are going to probably get posted Super Bowl week, I anticipate seeing tickets for $40,000 to $50,000. That's not what my tickets will be. I highly doubt
You
that.
said 16 minimum, you think.
I think they'll probably double, and then they'll fluctuate because sometimes tickets get released by the NFL, so on and so forth. Now, the reason I was able to buy the tickets was because we are season ticket holders, so we got first dibs on first rights to buy those tickets. What are you looking up, Carla Marie?
I just want to see what everyone was saying when
Oh,
you
yeah.
said.
Oh, there's something else we got to talk about really quick.
Mishrak said you could buy a single Louis Vuitton item.
I could buy a Louis Vuitton wallet to hang from or that stupid speaker they had. How much was that thing?
How much was the bowling bag?
The bowling bag was, I think, $8,000.
And you
man. You know what? My cousin is a big bowler.
He is?
Yeah, he loves bowling. He was on the bowling team in high school. He's very good. He has a bowling coach. Thought about going pro.
Alley
Yeah.
Cat Strike.
Yep. So maybe that's what he'll buy with his money. I doubt his wife will let him do that because that would be a silly purchase.
Where are the seats?
So the seats are second level. I wasn't able to buy my own seats. My own seats are actually much better than the seats I got for the Super Bowl. My own seats
Probably went to
are
M&M's.
lower level. If you've seen any aerial shots of or wide shots of Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, there's a huge torch on one side. My seats are on the lower bowl on the torch side near the end zone, and they're like the corner of the end zone, so you can still see the whole field. And we are 26 rows from the field.
That's cool. But these ones.
They're the second tier. So there's 3 tiers at the stadium. These are the second tier. And they are close to the 50-yard line, which is the best part of those tickets.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you will be able to see everything, halftime show, all of that. And no, I'm not pitching anyone in this chat on buying my tickets. But if you have thousands and thousands of extra dollars lying around, by all means. Yeah, they're 50-yard line, second tier.
And it's an Usher concert. Hello, it's not just a game.
And Reba McEntire,
I missed that.
she's going to be doing the national anthem.
Okay.
They just announced that, I think, yesterday or today.
Is she coming out with Usher?
Reba McEntire. So those are the details, right? Second tier, 50-yard line-ish, maybe like 1 or 2 rows away from the 50-yard line. The teams we have left.
So basically what Anthony has been explaining to me, and I agree, that there are certain fan bases that will pay a lot of money, no matter what it is, to go see their team.
Which is why I got screwed last weekend. I lost the Dolphins and I lost the Cowboys.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I think Dolphins fans would love to see Dolphins in the Super Bowl, but I don't know if they're paying to go to Vegas.
I think they absolutely would.
Okay.
I think it's one of the richer franchises out there. Dallas absolutely would have been.
Yeah, because
paying
everyone's
whatever.
a Dallas fan. They would have come from anywhere.
I also think and granted, there's going to be a lot of celebrities at the Super Bowl no matter what, but I feel like with all the celebrities that live in Miami and end up cheering for Miami sports, like when the Heat were good, those games were all celebrities all the time. When LeBron and D Wade and Bosh were there.
A celebrity buys your tickets.
There are some people I know who knows celebrities that go to these games, and I am going to reach out to them and say, hey, just so you know, I do have a pair of tickets.
But they're sitting with regular people. No
Yeah,
offense to us regular people.
They got no choice.
Huh?
They have no choice. It's not like there's that many tickets available where they could. The celebrities will be scattered throughout the entire arena, and also there's varying levels of celebrity. You know, I'm not selling these tickets to Justin Timberlake.
I know you don't want the Chiefs to go because they went a bunch and their fan base is like, we can't pay any more Super Bowl tickets. What?
Taylor Swift is not buying my tickets. Stop it. Okay, stop that. Taylor Swift, listen, it would be great.
She has the money.
She has all the money.
And can you send a digital note when you give the tickets to someone?
I don't think so, no.
I think you can, because I can when I transfer Seahawks tickets.
Oh, okay, so maybe we can.
So I can be like, hey, Tay, remember me? And I can upload a little picture.
But I would have to know that it's Taylor Swift, right?
What was her, Silge? What was that fake name she used?
Oh, I have no idea.
when she did the song with Calvin Harris and she was the writer on Noel Schulberg.
I have no idea.
Anyway, who's buying these tickets?
So,
what are the teams?
The teams that are left, we have, this matchup is probably going to be my least valuable matchup. We have Texans-Ravens. And I know there's a lot of oil money in Houston. I just don't think the team's been around long enough.
Okay.
And then the Ravens are very, very good.
Yeah.
I don't have faith in the Baltimore area.
I do love Lamar Jackson, though.
I do. If I wasn't financially invested in this Super Bowl, I would want the Ravens to get there. All right, that's the first Saturday game. I kind of don't want either of those teams making it. But if I had to choose one,
next.
If I had to choose one, I guess it would be the Texans, actually.
Who's a Texans fan?
But the Ravens, I feel like every 10 to 15 years, they win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, they just won, what was the last one? When they took on the 49ers.
2012?
So 2009, something like that.
I guess that. I don't know.
Anyway, next game on Saturday, you've got Packers, 49ers. Either of these teams in the Super Bowl, great for me.
Go Pack, go.
I'm going to actually cheer. I know there's some Packers fans here. I think I'm going to cheer for the 49ers in this game.
I like McCaffrey because he's married to...
The jacket girl? No, who's...
Oh, yeah, and the jacket girl, Kristen Jusick.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Jusick's...
So wait, who's...
Jusick's wife. McCaffrey, Olivia Culpo.
Oh, cool. Good for them. Well, they have celebrity friends that might need tickets.
Yes.
You know? So I would be rooting for the 49ers in that matchup. And I also, San Francisco, the Bay Area, has way more money.
And it's an easy flight for them to get to Vegas.
Also true. All right, now we go to the Sunday games. There are two matchups, four teams. Bucks, Lions.
Come on, Lions.
I do think, listen, Detroit gets a lot of bad press. But you do have a lot of wealthy areas around Detroit. And that team has been so bad for so long.
That you think people would be like, we got to go.
Yeah.
This ain't happening again.
Tampa Bay, they just won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady.
But it is Baker Mayfield. People love this.
I think people like the redemption story, which I love the redemption story of Baker Mayfield.
But are they going to pay $18,000?
So now what are we at? We have Texans, Niners win, right? Is that what we want?
Hoping.
Then Lions win, and now this one's the easiest matchup for me to cheer for financially. Chiefs, Bills. I want the Bills in the Super Bowl. If my tickets rely on it, I need the Bills because those fans will sell their home, their children, their dogs. They'll sell whatever they need to sell to get to the Super Bowl.
As much as I would love Taylor Swift to not have to, on her part, just be at the Super Bowl and not performing because the NFL wanted her to perform so bad and she said no. I think that would be a good story to have her there. I think she's...
As a Chief, like with the Chiefs going there?
Wait, isn't she, she's a... Oh, no. She has a show, I think, that ends right before it.
Like the day before?
Like 2 days before she could get back.
I think if her boyfriend is in the Super Bowl, she'll be there. So, yeah, I'm thinking the matchups. If anyone needs to cheer this weekend, if you need something to cheer for, we need Texans, Niners, Lions, Bills.
All right, so
that's what we're going for.
2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday.
Yeah, Texans, Niners, Lions, Bills. I think that sounds good. Does anyone, God bless you, does anyone think I've left a more valuable team or fan base, God bless you, off the table?
Drown you out. So over the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl.
That's my biggest thing is, well, there's two parts. One, I think my brother's going to try to ask me for the tickets if the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl. And I'm going to have to say, no, sir, unless you've got a whole ton of money.
He's going to try to ask you? No.
I've already told all my friends in my group chat how much the tickets were face value so that no one asks me for tickets in case. Because I have, in 2 of my group chats, I've got Bills fans. I've got a Lions fan in one of them, believe it or not. My cousins are also Lions fans. So I just let everyone know very early on, there is no friends and family discount on these tickets. Yeah, Bills Mafia, Lions. Looks like everyone kind of agrees.
Scotty, you're correct. He said, imagine all the tickets bought by... Go down.
Oh, sorry.
Not that far down. Imagine all the tickets bought by Swifties, all with binoculars looking for Taylor and not giving a crap about the game.
Listen, whatever they buy the tickets for is their prerogative. You want to buy the tickets and go search for Taylor Swift if the Chiefs are there? Great. But pay up.
So what do you set them at?
I have no idea.
I say you go $30K each for like a day and see what happens.
I mean, maybe for a couple hours, see if anyone bites. I think what we're going to do is we'll see what other people in our section are selling them for and undercut everyone by like, because I think there's going to be people in our section that do post their tickets for $25,000, $30,000 at first. And if we then post for 16 or something, we'll look really good and people will buy us. I sound like a prostitute.
So there's no normal people at the Super Bowl.
No.
There's no.
No, there are. Like last year, my friend Sean went because the Eagles were in the Super Bowl. And these tickets are significantly more expensive is the problem than any other Super Bowl that's
Sean
been out
is
there.
a normal person.
Yeah.
However, he's a C-suite level job.
Yes.
Okay. So that's not normal to me.
Okay, that's fair.
There are no blue-collar workers at the Super Bowl. A blue-collar worker could occasionally get to a regular NFL game.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough ask. I don't think the Super Bowl is built for normal people. That's not what the NFL wants.
But it was built by normal people. The NFL was built by normal people.
Carla Marie. The world was built by normal people. And the world still doesn't cater to normal people.
Martha said,
we're the peons.
I need clarification. You actually spent $9,000 of your own money.
Sure did.
Sure hope that money comes back.
No, I mean, there's no chance that we're losing money on these tickets. That won't happen at all. But we'll see what happens. Also, I do want to point something out. It's not on the list, but we lost a very valuable part of our show this morning. So you'll notice we haven't put anyone's individual messages on the screen. Normally, there's like a text box where I can click on with a different program. I can click on your message, throw it on the screen in like large font. Unfortunately, this morning, when I logged in, I was getting an error message. So I went to the website that we use, and this is what we got.
Are you showing this right now?
Yeah, featured.chat. Thank you. We will be back, although this should be temporary. Featured chat is currently offline. The joint aspect of the venture between
11th Heaven.
That's funny. And Twitch over the last 3 years has come to an end. So something that worked between this tool and Twitch is now broken.
I'll tell you what probably happened. The person that the contact they had at Twitch probably got let go last week. Hello, Anthony.
Oh, wow. Why is that so close to my face? Hold on.
Also, YouTube fired 100 people yesterday.
Everyone's firing everybody. The tech industry. And part of it's, it expanded so much, especially something like Twitch during the pandemic. These companies thought they could make the same exact amount of money then as they would be today. And
start doing things that were just not in their line of work also.
It's interesting, though, because none of those C-suite level people that made those decisions are getting fired.
Never.
It's weird how that works.
Well, I can't say never. We had this conversation the other day about...
About what?
The guy who works, the CEO of Solo Stove.
Oh, this is actually a great story.
Yes. Okay, so a few months ago, we may have even done this story in the Morning Show podcast that Snoop Dogg posted he was done smoking or done with smoke.
Yeah.
Is what he said. And the world, flipped over, everyone freaked out, and then it kind of went away. Then this story breaks this week that the CEO of Solo Stove, they are the company that makes, fire pits, giant sternos, essentially.
Yeah. They are really cool.
And they're expensive, but that company, the CEO, got fired because of a failed ad campaign with Snoop.
Yeah.
And that ad campaign was Snoop saying, no more smoke, and then him, doing promotion with Solo Stove because that's the thing about them, there's no smoke.
Yeah.
Which is great. You can, burn them in your house. It's cool.
Well, no, not the open fire ones.
The little ones.
Yes.
Yes, whatever.
No, I just don't want people taking a full-on Solo Stove and putting it in their home.
Thank you, Anthony. Please read the instructions.
Yeah, don't listen to Carla Marie.
But all the responses on the Instagram post about the CEO being fired and it being a failed thing were, I didn't even know the promotion was with Solo Stove until now. So, yes, it was a bad campaign, but also imagine just getting fired because of one bad ad campaign.
But at the same time, if you're the guy who spent the however many millions of dollars to get that thing done and it fails and your company has to then reset because you've spent so much money, you didn't make it back. Yeah, you're the one responsible. And the reason you got paid that much money to begin with was to be the person responsible for the direction of the company. So if it goes south, you should be the one that's fired. And I promise you, or I can almost guarantee you, I should say, that man has a very nice severance package. God bless you.
Thank you.
I've never in my life felt bad for a CEO getting fired because they all have severance packages for years or golden parachutes, if you want to call them that.
But I feel like, no offense to Snoop Dogg, I feel like he may have messed up the campaign. I didn't see any other, did he post solo stuff?
I don't follow Snoop. I love Snoop. I think he's a great personality. I think he was a great rapper. But I don't follow him. Okay, please go get a tissue. I do think so. Audrey said that everyone was talking about it. It was a genius move. Everyone was talking about it. It just didn't translate to them actually selling things. And I don't know if people talked about Snoop saying he was quitting or giving up smoke. I don't think once it became revealed it was a collaboration with Solo Stove that it still had the same traction. And they weren't able for whatever reason, whether it was their fault as a company or whatever, maybe the world just didn't care. They just weren't able to capitalize on it. So it was great in terms of getting Snoop marketing. I don't think it was great in terms of getting Solo Stove marketing.
They're at Costco. You can get 2 of the XL, but they're not that big.
They're called the Mesa, the tabletop ones. Those are pretty cool.
Okay.
Who just said they're late? Who was late to class?
Ivy. What's your excuse?
7:45 detention tomorrow.
I never had morning detention. We didn't have it because
I
I don't think a single teacher wanted to deal with it.
Or sorry, not 7:45. It was a 7:15 morning detention because our classes started at 7. I want to say our classes were 7:47 or 7:52. It was some weird, stupid time. Not a round number.
I look back to high school, and I fully agree with the movement of letting kids go to school much later now.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about this a bunch between the two of us, how there's science that shows when you're that age, your body cannot function that early.
Yes, the problem, though, just like some of these school districts going to 4 days a week, the problem isn't necessarily whether or not it's beneficial for the student.
Where's the parent?
It's how, usually schools, at least growing up for us, we had to get to school before our parents had to get to work.
But also, would you do at 2 p.m. when you got out of school? It's the same thing.
It's similar. It's a similar problem. It's not the same because now it gives you 2 things to worry about now.
But if school was 9 to 5, that'd be much better.
For who?
Parents start work at 9.
Yeah.
And kids.
But you want kids because the hours.
8 hours. We used to go 8. We used to go 8 to 3.
I guess it is the same.
Oh, it's a 1 hour difference. Anyway, I think about having to wake up in high school at 6:30.
Yeah.
7, whatever it was, because our first bell was 7:40, and how 7 a.m. felt like 3 a.m. But then when I got a job in radio and I had to wake up at 3 a.m., that 7 a.m. seemed glorious.
Let's see. Kids in Pennsylvania go over to school for 7 hours. Interesting. That's true. There could be after-school activities if parents can't pick them up and stuff. Well, some schools provide them. Some schools don't. Like a charity or a group like City Year, for example, where my friend Dan works. He works for City Year and oversees their Jacksonville district. Yeah. They work with schools that can't afford their own after-school programs.
That's cool.
And they put them on for those schools. So there are a lot of organizations out there that will provide after-school activities for kids whose parents are still working, can't pick them up or whatever.
But Ballard High School, I think they start after 9 a.m.
Really?
Oh, my God.
We had, I think most towns are like this. All of our schools, because we had all 3 levels, were staggered. So if you had a kid in every level of school, you would drop your high school kid off first. That was the earliest class. Then your middle school kid. Then your elementary school kid.
I think we have that too, but it's also the city. And there's a ton of different elementary schools.
Oh, you mean
in Ballard?
Yeah.
Sorry, in Seattle. So I don't know how that works.
I think it probably works based on your district.
No, I guess, do all the elementary schools start at the same time? Obviously, because you're not dropping one of your kids off at one and one at the other.
Yeah.
Do you even have a middle school?
Here? I'm sure they do.
I don't know.
We have elementary schools and we have high
It may
schools.
go to 7th or 8th grade. It is crazy.
Oh, yeah, the library is always open as well.
True. It is crazy how much we obviously know about New Jersey schools, A, because we went to them, and B, because I have nieces in them and nephews, whatever. I know nothing about the Seattle school system other than what I'll ask our friend Ellie, because her kids are in it.
Yeah.
And when I did that event with the Seahawks, I was asking the librarian like a million questions about school. Because I was like, what goes on here? What even happens?
All right, moving on. We do have to talk about Carla Marie's broken heart.
I completely forgot about this. So last month, I talked about how I was going to get a heart test because my brother found out that his heart was not doing well, ended up getting 3 stents put in to his arteries.
They basically told your brother, like, if he didn't find this out, which he pushed for on his own because his original doctor
Told him he was fine.
told him he was fine.
And he was like, no.
Didn't want to get the extra test. Like, he probably was not going to be here very long,
No,
right?
He would not be.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So it's called a coronary calcium score is what you get done. And it's a CT.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, it took a minute. And no dyes, none of that. They're not injecting you with anything. And they basically check to see if your arteries are calcified. And it's generally on a score, 0 is good. 30 is something to be concerned about, I believe. My brother was like 1150.
Like in the thousands. Jeez.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why the doctor was kind of like, this can't be right. He almost looked at it as if...
His score was so bad they thought the thing was broken, basically.
I went in, I got my test, and I am a 0.
Nice.
So it's exciting.
So, but have they given you things to... Because it seems like there are heart conditions in your family.
Yeah, seems.
Between, like, because your mom had heart surgery.
Everyone in my family has something with their heart. I found out I have a murmur. That could be new. TBD.
Your heart or your mouth?
It's a stutter.
Oh, mumble. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay, well, good joke.
All right.
I know Ashley.
But you also like to get
heart
serious.
Palpitations and stuff.
You also you had an uncle who passed before you were born, or right?
And
his was a heart attack, a young heart attack, right?
36.
Yeah. Have they given you stuff
Sorry, I'm not smiling at that. The dog was here.
Have they given you things to focus on, concentrate on, considering your family history?
Yes, Dr. A, my doctor, she's great. She's constantly checking, and even with the diabetes, my family history, every time we go, we're checking your blood for this. She sent me for this heart thing, knowing my family history. And when I came in and told her about my brother, which I love because she takes me seriously, so many other doctors were like, well, you're young, it's fine. But
well, even your brother's doctor didn't want him, said it wasn't necessary for him to get this test.
And it went,
which would have then killed him.
It wasn't, well, the test he got, it was like doing more after that.
Okay.
The same test. That doctor ended up apologizing to my brother.
Which is great that they caught it.
I know.
But it wouldn't have been great if that apology would have meant much less if your brother didn't do the work on his own.
So basically, I'll have to go and get this test, not every year, but it's good to have a baseline now of 0. And then I figure out, because then if it goes up, if it's 10, then all of this grew within a year or whatever. Yeah. So there's that. I do need to see a regular cardiologist just as a specialist because, Dr. A, that's not her specialty.
Yeah.
So I do need to see a cardiologist to check on things.
Just check the oil, make sure everything's working right.
Check under the hood.
Yep.
Also, speaking of under the hood, if anyone in the Seattle area has a gynecologist that they love, please recommend because I don't have one.
You've never gone to one out here?
Okay, I have.
Oh, so then we don't have like a consistent one?
No, I don't like the office anymore. I didn't like my last time I went to them. Dr. A is great because I can get my regular checkups in office with her. I can do my PAPs there. I can do breast checks. She can remove IUDs, but she can't put them in.
Okay.
And I'm coming up on that. Well, probably in like a year, but I should just I should have a regular gyno. But the last time I went, because there were a few doctors in my office, so not my regular one, I saw a different one after I thought a cyst ruptured. And
this is the gynecologist's office.
The office, but it was a different doctor in the office.
Okay.
And she didn't take me seriously. kind of brushed it off, told me that they can put me on birth control even while I have an IUD, which is what they always say, which is
for cysts?
Absolutely insane, which I get it, but come on. And it was just an interaction I did not like. So as much as I liked my other doctor, I'm not going back to that office.
It's interesting. And I think especially because of the pandemic and how involved everyone started getting with their health, but also the proliferation of bad information created this weird circumstance where it's been proven, it's been studied, we have much lower confidence in our health system than we ever had. And I'm trying to figure out what the balance is between asking your doctor questions that obviously are very important to you and things that you know about your life to kind of question their prognosis of things. Between that, which everyone should be doing, but there's also a group of people out there that will just search for a doctor to give them the answer they want.
Right.
And I don't know how we as people find the balance, because it's from anything from vaccines to IUDs to like tearing my Achilles.
You could have found a doctor that did surgery.
Yeah. And the craziest thing was I originally didn't believe my doctor when he told me I didn't need surgery. So I had a second and a third opinion, and there was a little difference with every single person's kind of prognosis. And I tried to keep telling myself, don't just search for the answer you want to search. Listen to these people.
Right.
And see who's actually taking your input seriously and who isn't.
I think a lot of people don't know this, to trust their gut and know what your body is also telling you. And that's something that
it's interesting
hard.
though.
But women, and this is also a researched area and proven that women consistently get, I don't know what the word is, but not taken seriously at the doctor.
It's like not misdiagnosed, or is it?
I guess it is. I guess to an extent that is part of it, but we often get looked at as crazy. So our symptoms, if I say I'm having all these symptoms, it's, kind of just pushed aside. It's one of the reasons why I do love having a female doctor, because she has the same parts as me and has been through this.
Yeah, it's like if you have a Kia, you take your car to a Kia dealership.
Correct.
Because they know how Kias
work. You can go to a mechanic. That's not a Kia mechanic.
But they have to know how to work with Kias. They need the owner's manual and stuff.
True.
It's different.
But when it comes to like pain scales,
pain scales? Sorry.
Women's pain isn't taken as seriously as men saying their pain scale number. And that's been studied for years.
Interesting.
And one of the things that are a constant, I guess, talking point are IUDs. It is one of the most painful procedures you can get awake, and there's no, and I mean no, numbing, nothing given to you.
There's got to be a reason.
They just say it's not necessary, deal with it, basically.
So you're telling me there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Like reaction between a painkiller and whatever has to happen? Like there's no negative reaction there?
Being more relaxed would be great, because it's when you're tense, it's even harder to do. B-Delps, I fainted from my IUD. That is so insanely common.
That sounds wild.
So I had one, which you can keep them in. They said, you could keep them in 5 to 7 years now. I'm like, who said? And are we checking if it still works? Because that 5 to 7 could mean the rest of my life I have a baby. So let's figure that out. But when I went in for the last one, it was an IUD that I had from my 20s, from my Jersey doctor. And I guess he cut the string so short. So there's a string in there that they can basically...
You yank it.
But they do it in a better professional way.
They just yank it. They professionally yank it.
And my doctor here at the time, could not get my strings. Could not. So I was dealing with 10, 15 minutes of her poking around.
She's just like fishing in there?
Yanking around. Had to get someone else. Had to leave me clamped open and go to get another tool. She was like, hold on.
The extendo?
Yeah.
Did she get one of those carnival pickers?
That's basically what it is. I'm not even kidding you. So she yanks it out, and That hurt. Then she had to put the other one in.
Oh, the same day?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that sounds terrible. Speaking of crazy women, though.
So, anyway, TBD if I'm going to get a new one put in.
Speaking of crazy women, because you said that when women go to the doctor, they're always seen as like crazy and they're not taken seriously.
I know you want to talk about this, but we do have a doctor in here that said something
Okay,
about
go
that.
for it.
Dr. Dow, my eye doctor, said healthcare isn't easy. Playing detective to figure out what is wrong with someone else, and even harder when the tests come back all normal.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what I was trying to say earlier was there's a weird balance that I think we have to find as a society of communicating better with our healthcare professionals, number one, because it's hard for them to do their jobs if you're not totally honest and communicative with them. The doctors trusting the patients and also being open to maybe other options or suggesting other options. But I think the biggest thing we have as humans have to understand is the world has been pretty easy for people in America, at least for the past 50 years. Like, we can go and find everything we want. We can get everything we want for the most part. That same mentality shouldn't be what you use when you're trying to find a doctor, because that's what I was talking about before, where people are now searching for doctors that just tell them the thing they want. Like, if you wanted to lose weight, for example, and your doctor doesn't want to prescribe you some medication because he thinks you don't need it yet, or there's other options before you do that, people are now leaving that doctor and just finding the person that's going to write them the prescription.
Right.
And I don't envy doctors at all, because they're getting so many different personalities and there's so much information online.
I agree.
Some of it's true, some of it's not. So
I don't know.
It's kind of wild.
Go see Dr. Dow.
But I do want to talk about crazy women for a second, Carla Marie.
Okay.
So you brought this up in today's episode of the Morning Show podcast. These groups have been around for a while.
Wow.
These Are We Dating the Same Guy groups.
Yeah, so there's like...
And they're like regional, right?
Are we dating the same guy? Seattle. Are we dating the same guy? Bergen County, New Jersey. There's one. Chicago, wherever, your nook of America likely has one of these groups that you have to request to join, and it asks you a bunch of questions about where you live and stuff before they let you in, because they're not really... Although I will say, our friend Colleen lives in Philadelphia and is in one in Nashville to monitor for some of her friends who are there.
So
they let you in.
Here's my problem. Like a lot of things that start with the best intentions, sometimes, not even sometimes, almost every time, when you introduce the general public to something and give people that much power, it starts to almost get like bastardized.
Yeah.
And you mentioned how there are women in these groups that have called out like physically abusive men, and people have been saved from relationships in that aspect. Phenomenal.
Amazing.
Right? Like, that's incredible. Even the idea of just dating the same person.
It's dating you right now and me at the same time? Like, screw this guy.
Still a very powerful tool. But what I've seen, and you even mentioned it in today's episode of the Morning Show podcast, which I suggest you go listen to if you haven't done that yet. Now it's getting to a point where it's like, well, that guy ghosted me, or that guy was just kind of creepy. Or
what is creepy? Because
exactly.
What is
tell creepy me you found him unattractive?
Yeah, or is creepy he texted you something that you just don't think he should have, whatever, I don't know. But creepy has a scale.
Yes.
And everyone's scale is different.
And now there are these weird judgment calls that I don't think is fair to a regular guy. Because guess what? I've absolutely ghosted people in the past. I've also been ghosted in the past, right? I don't know if that is reason enough to go and trash someone's reputation on an online forum that's available to everybody.
I agree.
Right? Like, things didn't work out between you and this person. Maybe you shouldn't have what?
You're moving your hand so much that the camera keeps moving.
Is it following me?
Yeah.
It's having some trouble. I don't think just because you were slighted a little bit means you can go and then derail that person's entire romantic life.
I agree. B-Delp said creepy is unsolicited dick pics. I don't think a woman would have responded and said he's creepy if that's what she got. I think she would have flat out said he sent me unsolicited dick pics.
Which is probably, I mean, we talk about this all the time. If you do that in real life, that's sexual assault.
Correct.
Right? So I would consider sexual assault a real reason to
not
go and warn another person. Right? Like if a woman tried to attack me with a knife, that is a real reason to go to my friends and say, maybe you don't want to date that woman. And I just don't think we can trust the general population enough to be honest enough in these forums. And I think you can end up in situations, and the situation you talked about in today's morning show podcast, explain that one.
So this guy is suing 27 different women from one Facebook group for saying, I don't know if all these women dated him or not. That's what we don't know because that's crazy. I don't know if they were just ganging up, whatever. I guess a woman he was dating and actually really liked, they went on a few dates, had consensual sex, whatever. She posts him in this group asking for, and you're also, and I hate saying this because it's in a different way, you're asking for it at that point. If I were to literally go in a group and be like, tell me about this guy, what would women that dated you say?
Glowing endorsements all across the board.
So anyway, this guy in Chicago, Nico, he gets put in this group, and one woman that dated him said he ghosted me. Another woman said he was creepy. Another one said he was, no, I don't even know. Oh, and psycho and clingy AF.
Again,
what is clingy?
What do all of these mean? Right? I don't want to, I'm not going to just defend this guy blindly. He may be a bad person. We don't know, but those are also terms that are so open that I don't know how we deal with this. And I don't know if these things are healthy anymore. I think there are, like you mentioned, people who have probably been saved from physically abusive relationships or have found out their guy is cheating.
Sorry.
But there are too many variables. And we're asking to trust way too many people.
There's like a national one, I guess, and I tried to get into it yesterday. And it's a lot of, are we dating the same guy? And it's photos of creepy dudes in movies. Like, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Which is annoying.
There's Drown You Out said, what one person thinks is creepy doesn't mean another one thinks that's creepy.
Agreed.
That's also true.
Are we dating the same guy? Seattle, Tacoma, and Olympia is one. But I can't see.
But I also think you mentioned how this guy in the lawsuit that you mentioned today, the Morning Show podcast, you mentioned that he's suing 27 different women, and he's suing Facebook too, right?
Yeah.
For like $70,000.
$75,000. Made by Erica said that he's also suing some of the group's creators.
So here's the interesting thing. Maybe he dated 27 individual women.
It's not. Yeah.
He probably didn't. But this is the dangerous part for people who get caught up in a lot of it. Is you start sharing things about people you don't know, about situations you have no information about. And now because you shared it and because you amplified that message, you're kind of guilty as well. Even though you may have done it with good intentions, you did it without the proper information, and you did it, which ends up being dangerous.
Yeah. And I think some women could just maliciously.
Absolutely. I'm talking about the ones who aren't even doing it maliciously. They think they're doing it for the right intentions, but if you're given the wrong information, your intentions actually don't mean anything.
Hey, Shauna said, this reminds me of don'tdatehimgirl.com, which I think got shut down for the same reasons. Too many lawsuits.
Yeah. It just opens people up to a lot. And again, I don't want to say there shouldn't be certain groups that do try to protect you, right? It's almost, this is going to be a weird comparison, okay? We have the sex offender registry in America, where if you're a registered sex offender, like you can go, you're in a searchable database, right? That's a very specific thing.
You've been charged.
You were charged, you went to court, blah, blah, blah. It's almost like if you opened that up and it was parents saying, well, this guy was too close to an elementary school and I don't trust him.
Right.
And now you're putting that guy on a list. Again, weird comparison.
But no, that makes sense.
But
it's really.
This is what we're giving people access to now.
Fred the Mailman said, I used to get called creepy all the time. I hated it. It was mostly because I grew up in an area where everyone had don't F with me face. Suburban folks found that creepy. Hood folks considered it normal. I don't think Fred's creepy.
And that's the thing. I don't think anyone in this chat thinks Fred's creepy. And here's the other part. Just because something didn't work with you doesn't mean that person is the same version in every other scenario.
Change.
Right? Like the one woman in this scenario who said the guy ghosted her. Well, maybe you were boring. Right? Maybe you didn't put anything into it.
If I went in there and started saying this stuff to him, and I would get kicked out.
I'm sure. But maybe some of the responsibility, novel idea, maybe when relationships don't work out, some of the responsibility is on both parties.
Sometimes.
Probably pretty often. It's just a wild concept to say we are going to give people free reign to have this one-way conversation where the other person who we're talking about in the relationship has no platform to come back and defend themselves.
I'm so lucky that I've never had to use any of these groups for my own personal life, but I think my nieces are in the Jersey one, and one of their friends, a guy she was dating, got put in there and was like, is anyone dating this guy? I'm dating him. And it was a friend's boyfriend or something. So
was anyone dating him?
Yes. This girl, like a random girl, posted this guy that was a friend's boyfriend. Okay. So he was cheating.
Okay.
So he got caught. Okay. And then everyone was like, ugh.
So he did get caught.
Yeah.
Which, again, I think is a valuable tool.
I kind of want to put you in the Seattle-Tacoma one and see if anyone says.
I don't think you're going to get a lot of traction
with that one. Is
that
that the guy
one.
from the radio?
There's going to be a lot of, well, he stopped talking to me on Tinder. There's going to be a lot of that. Remember that one woman? Mm-hmm. Like, that's a great example, actually. If you're not familiar with the story, this was years ago. There was a woman I connected with on either Tinder or Hinge. I think it was actually Hinge, because she had to respond to me to start it. Or Bumble. Bumble, that's what it was. So we connected a couple times on Bumble, and my kind of MO with all those apps was I'd have them for a little bit. I'd match with some people, and then I'd be like, this is stupid, and I would delete the apps, and then I would re-download them later on, so on and so forth. So I guess I matched with this woman on Bumble at one point. We said maybe exchanged 3 messages. Deleted the app. Then months later, I downloaded again, completely forget about the situation, and I matched with her again. And she sent me this long message. It's still saved somewhere on one of my computers, about how the only reason she matched with me again was because she needed to tell me off or tell me how she felt. And just because I'm in the radio doesn't mean I can.
People are like dying to talk to you.
It was the weirdest message. And keep in mind, the only things, and I posted the screenshots, the only things I had posted to this woman were like a, hey, what's up type of message. If that woman had access to one of these groups and someone posted my picture in there, which she was a stranger and she had that opinion of me, an actual stranger.
And Anthony is correct. The conversations he had with her were just, hey, yeah, what's up? Like, it was niceties. And then she thought she deserved way more after the niceties that he ghosted her.
Yeah.
And she just went off on him.
And I even apologized originally when she was like, oh, we've matched, but before I got the long message.
She said, we've matched before. And you're like, oh, sorry, I deleted the app. Yeah. And then she just went off.
Yeah. But again, the reason I bring that up is people like that have access to these groups.
Man.
That's the thing you have to think of.
I'm going to put you in there. See what happens.
By all means, go for it.
Are we dating the same girl?
Probably.
Put me in there.
Are you looking it up right now? Does anyone know off the top of their head if there are these similar groups? Is this group specifically for straight women? Because are we dating the same guy? Like, can a guy go in there and say, is anyone dating this guy?
I think there is one.
There's a separate one.
I believe so.
Okay.
Are we dating the same girl?
It's got to have less members.
Hi, guys. Respect all boys here.
What are you getting? Okay, Made by Erica said yes, there are.
There is, but
There are groups.
anyone recognize my fiance of 7 years? She's been acting distant. Maybe because you've been engaged for 7 years.
It's a long engagement.
No offense to anyone who's had a long engagement.
It's a long engagement. Let's see. So there are those groups. Okay.
Are we dating the same girl? January 4th. Someone post this. Why is this group now all of a sudden just people bitching and complaining about their wife or girlfriend they've been with for X amount of days, months, years, blah, 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 that they're suspicious, hiding something or cheating on them, etc. Until they have for whatever person to hack their phone for evidence of them cheating. Like, WTF, this group went to shit.
So this is why you can't trust people.
It's supposed to be us helping each other out to see if we're dating or hooking up with the same girl. Like, F every single post is this bullshit. It's not even worth being in this group anymore. By the way, there's no punctuation. That's why I'm reading like this.
But this is, you know what? Here's how I think we could fix these groups, right? Is instead of giving people full access to say whatever they want. Let's say you wanted to post me in one of these Are We Dating the Same Guy groups, okay? You post my picture. Are we dating the same guy? His name is Anthony. He lives in Seattle. That's it. Name, location, picture. The only thing people should be able to do is say yes or no. Now, well, one time I dated him, and I'll tell you what, he blah, blah, blah. That's not what I asked, bitch. Are you dating him right now? And then it should say, or maybe you have like 3 options. Yes, no, highly dangerous. That's it. Because I do like...
going to mark highly dangerous, so.
That's true. Then maybe when there's no... Yeah, I guess you need a spectrum because otherwise then everyone that they don't like is going to be highly dangerous. Mm-hmm. And what does that even mean?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Found in court of physical abuse or something like that. Like... Some sort of, which I know, I understand not all domestic abuse is, goes to court or even is proven in court. So I understand. All I'm saying is there needs to be some sort of, I don't know, metric that people can use here instead of just like, well, we didn't really like click and I think he was a weirdo. Well, that doesn't help anybody.
It's scary.
Because that also wasn't the question I asked. I said, are you dating him now? And now you just trauma dumped all your shit on me.
Glad I don't have to deal with that.
Not yet. Not yet, Carla Marie. That is it for Thursday, January 18th.
I think next Thursday we might have a nutrition expert on the show. In studio.
Instead of us just talking nonsense?
Yes.
I like that. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Don't forget to listen to the Morning Show podcast. It's available wherever you get your shows. There will be a brand new episode tomorrow as well. And we'll be back right here. You, us, everybody. Which side is the chat on? Chat's over there, actually.
And right Megan, we will get to the topic of your coworker next week.
All right. We will do that on Monday. Thanks for hanging. Peace out.